The ruins were silent, silent. A cold wind whispered through broken stone arches, carrying the smell of burnt metal and old blood. The alien woman lay on the ground, her body trembling. Her wrists were still chained, the iron cutting deep into her skin. Her people had left her here broken, forgotten, and unwanted. Her eyes, glowing faintly in the dark, stared at the endless shadows around her. She whispered to herself in her native tongue, a prayer for death or mercy, but death refused to come, and mercy was a thing she no longer believed in. Her chest ached with every shallow breath. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, and thirst made her tongue heavy like stone. The battlefield had ended days ago, yet she was still here, surrounded by silence. No rescue, no family, no one. The darkness was her only companion. She tried to move, dragging herself against the cold ground. Her leg was injured, twisted at an angle that made every step impossible. She had screamed once so loud her throat tore, but no one came. Only the echo of her own voice mocked her. Then a sound. Footsteps. She froze. Her pointed ears twitched, straining to listen. The steps were steady, heavy, deliberate. Not the clumsy scurrying of a scavenger. Not the dragging crawl of a dying soldier. Someone alive. Someone strong. Fear burned through her veins. If it was one of her kind, they would laugh and leave her again. If it was an enemy, she would be finished. The footsteps grew closer. Crunch, crunch, crunch. She pressed, her body against the cracked wall, her claws ready, though she knew she was too weak to fight. Her heart thumped so hard she thought the sound would give her away. And then from the shadows came a light, a small flame, a torch. She blinked, her eyes stinging after days of darkness. And in that light, she saw him. A human. Tall, broad-shouldered, covered in dust and scars, his face hidden under a cracked helmet. His eyes glowed faintly behind the visor as he scanned the ruins. In his hand, he carried the torch, the warm glow chasing away the shadows that had been her prison. Her breath caught. Humans. She had heard stories of them. Ruthless warriors, monsters of war, and yet, also strange saviors whispered of in secret. She did not know which one stood before her. The human stopped when his torchlight fell on her. His head tilted, studying her chained body for a long, tense moment. Neither moved. Finally, he spoke. His voice was low, deep, and steady. "You're alive," she hissed softly, forcing strength into her broken voice. "Stay back, human." The man crouched, setting his torch closer so the light touched her face. He studied her wounds, the blood, the chains. His expression did not change, but his silence felt heavy. "You've been left behind," he said finally, "by your own." Her lips trembled, but she bit down her shame. Better to die here than be mocked again. The human leaned closer, ignoring her threat. He reached to touch the chain at her wrist. She tried to pull away, but the metal held her down. "You'll bleed out if this stays," he muttered. Her eyes narrowed. "Why do you care?" The human looked at her, his eyes meeting hers through the visor. In that moment, she expected coldness, cruelty, but what she saw instead made her chest ache. Compassion. The kind of look she had not seen since she was a child. "I don't leave people to die in the dark," he said simply. His words cut through her like fire. She wanted to laugh, to tell him he was lying. No one cared. Not her family, not her people, not even the stars above. But his voice carried no mockery. It was steady, honest. Her heart raced. Still, her pride was stronger than her hope. She spat weakly toward the ground. "Humans kill. Humans destroy. Don't pretend you are different." The human gave no answer. Instead, he pulled the tool from his belt. With a hard snap, the chain around her wrist broke. She gasped, clutching her free arm, staring at him in disbelief. "Why?" "Because no one should be left to die alone," he said. The silence between them grew heavy, broken only by the crackle of his torch. She tried to stand, but her injured leg gave way, and she fell forward. Strong arms caught her before she hit the ground. Her head pressed against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat steady, warm, alive. For the first time since she was abandoned, she felt safe, but safety was an illusion. A noise echoed from deep within the ruins. Metallic, sharp, more footsteps. Her body stiffened. She clutched the human's arm. "They're coming," she whispered, her voice trembling. The human tightened his grip on his weapon. He looked down at her, torchlight dancing across his face. "Then stay close," he said. "I'll get you out of the dark." And with that, the shadows moved again, this time, bringing danger with them. Asterisk, the footsteps in the ruins faded away. But the fear inside her chest did not. The alien woman clung to the wall, her claws scraping stone, while the human lifted his torch higher. The light spread across the broken pillars, chasing the darkness like a hunter. She could not stop staring at that flame for days. She had been blind in black silence. Now, because of him, the shadows retreated. It felt strange, almost painful. Her eyes watered, yet she did not look away. The human moved with calm steps, his boots crunching softly on the dust. His torchlight revealed broken armor, shattered weapons, and bones scattered across the floor. This was no safe place. Still, she could not take her gaze off him. "You can't walk," he said quietly, looking at her injured leg. His voice was steady like stone, like a promise. She bared her teeth. "I don't need your pity." He didn't argue. Instead, he pulled something from his pack cloth, clean and folded. Slowly, without asking, he knelt beside her. She tensed as his hand reached for her leg. "No," she hissed, pulling back. "Touch me again and You'll what?" he interrupted, his tone firm but calm. "You'll die if I don't. Stop the bleeding." Her breath caught. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She wanted to push him away, to keep her pride sharp like a blade, but she had no strength left. And his eyes, when they met hers, they held no cruelty, only firelight. Reluctantly, she looked away. "Do what you want, human." He wrapped the cloth around her, wound, pulling it tight. She winced, a hiss of pain escaping her lips. He did not apologize, did not speak false comfort. His silence was stronger than any lie. For a moment, they stayed like that, the alien in her shame, the human in his quiet work. Finally, he stood, holding out his hand. The torchlight burned across his armor, casting him like a figure of iron and flame. "Take my hand," he said. She glared at it. "Why?" "Because the dark is hungry," he answered. "And it will eat you first." Her throat tightened. The shadows around them seemed to grow heavier, pressing close, listening. Somewhere deep in the ruins, a sound echoed again, a scrape, a low growl. Her pride screamed at her to refuse, but her body betrayed her. Trembling, she lifted her clawed hand and placed it in his. Warm, steady, alive. The human pulled her up, supporting her weight with ease. She stumbled, but his grip did not falter. The torchlight flickered across her face, and for the first time in many days, she felt heat that was not cruel, not burning, just human. She whispered, barely able to speak, "Why risk yourself for me?" The human looked forward, scanning the dark ahead. His torch swayed, throwing long shadows across the stone, because no one should be left behind. He said. The words struck her harder than the cold, harder than pain. She did not understand this man. She did not believe such kindness could exist. And yet, here he was, guiding her deeper into the ruins. But the dark was not silent anymore. Behind them, the growl grew louder. Something was following. The alien woman's claws tightened around his hand. Her voice trembled. "They will kill you if you stay with me." The human raised his torch higher, his weapon ready in the other hand. He glanced at her, his jaw tight, his voice unshaken. "Then let them try." The torch flared as if answering him, its flames snapping against the wind. And in that fragile circle of light, the human and the alien walked together to broken souls against the endless dark. But the shadows moved closer, and soon the light would not be enough. The ruins grew tighter as they moved, walls closing like the jaws of a beast. Every step echoed in the dark tunnels, bouncing back in whispers that made the alien woman shiver. The human's torch was the only thing keeping the shadows away, but the flame flickered as if it was afraid. Behind them, the growl returned, low, hungry. The alien woman's claws dug into the human's arm. "It's following us." He didn't slow. His eyes swept every corner, every crack, his weapon steady in his free hand. "Then we keep moving." Her heart pounded. She had never walked so close to a human before. His scent was strange smoke, metal, and something warm underneath. His steps were confident, his grip firm. She hated how much safer she felt holding onto him, and how dangerous that feeling was. The tunnel ahead split into two paths. The human stopped, torchlight spilling into both directions. To the left, silence. To the right, footsteps, heavy, organized. Not the beast. Soldiers. Her body froze. She knew that rhythm. The enemy patrols, the very ones who had left her to die. "They'll kill me if they see me," she whispered, her voice shaking. The human glanced at her, then at the two paths. He could leave her. He could save himself. One turn, and he would be gone. But he didn't. Instead, he pulled her close, pressing her against the wall. His body shielded hers. The torch hidden behind his frame. His voice was low, sharp as steel. "Stay quiet." She trembled. Her cheek brushed against the rough metal of his armor. His heartbeat thudded against her ear, fast, but steady. She wanted to close her eyes, to disappear inside that warmth, Even as fear strangled her, the patrol passed. 3 shadows. Tall, armed, their boots striking the stone like drums of war. Their voices were muffled, harsh, filled with cruel laughter. They didn't notice the human and the alien pressed in the dark. Not yet. One soldier stopped. His helmet turned. For a terrifying moment, his visor scanned the wall where they hid. The alien woman's breath caught in her throat. She was certain he would see, but the human's hand tightened on hers just enough to ground her, just enough to remind her not to move. His calm was a shield stronger than any wall. After an endless moment, the patrol moved on. The sound of their boots faded into the tunnel. Silence returned. The woman sagged against the wall, gasping softly. They should have seen us. Why didn't they? The human pulled the torch forward again. Its light spilled across his face, revealing the faintest smile. Because they were too busy listening to their own noise. Soldiers like that never look where they should. She stared at him, her chest rising and falling fast. He spoke with such certainty, such quiet strength. She didn't understand it, but she trusted it, trusted him. And that terrified her more than the soldiers. You risked yourself, she whispered. For me? He gave no answer. Instead, he guided her toward the left path, deeper into the ruins. The darkness thickened. The growl from earlier returned, echoing louder. Not soldiers this time, something else. Her claws shook as she clutched his arm tighter. The beast, it's still following. The human raised his torch higher. His weapon gleamed in the firelight. His jaw tightened. Then let it come, he said. We'll face it together. The alien woman blinked, stunned, together. No one had ever said that to her before. But before she could speak, a roar shook the tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling. Stone cracked under unseen weight. The beast had found them, and there was nowhere left to run. The roar shook the tunnels like thunder. Stone dust rained from above as cracks spread across the ruined ceiling. The alien woman's breath caught in her throat, her body trembling. She had heard that sound before, only once, when her people fled from the underground predators. Few survived that night. The human gripped her hand tighter. His torchlight flickered, making the shadows twist and dance. He raised his weapon with the other hand, eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. The beast stepped into view. Its body was massive, crawling on for clawed limbs that scraped against stone. Its skin was black, wet, and glistening like tar. Rows of teeth gleamed in the light, dripping with saliva that hissed when it touched the ground. Its eyes, 6 of them, burned faintly green, locked on the human and the alien. The woman's claws dug into his arm. We can't fight that. The human's jaw tightened. We don't have a choice. The beast lunged. The human shoved her aside and swung his weapon. The blast lit the tunnel in a flash, striking the creature's shoulder. It shrieked, shaking the walls with its fury. The alien woman tried to crawl back, but her leg failed her. Fear paralyzed her body. The beast charged again, its claws tearing into stone. The human rolled aside, torch still burning in his grip. He struck again, but the creature was too fast. It slammed him into the wall, knocking the weapon from his hand. No. The alien woman cried out, her voice echoing in the tunnel. The beast turned its eyes toward her. Saliva dripped from its teeth as it hissed, ready to crush her where she lay. But the human moved first. With nothing but the burning torch, he rammed the flame into one of the beast's eyes. The creature howled in pain, thrashing violently. The tunnel shook as it slammed into the walls, trying to shake off the fire. Run, he shouted. She tried to move, but her legs screamed with pain. She collapsed, her pride shattered. Tears burned her eyes as she realized she could not even save herself. Then strong arms lifted her. The human pulled her against his chest, carrying her through the tunnel. His steps were heavy, his breath ragged, but he didn't stop. The torchlight bounced wildly, painting the walls with fire as the beast, furious, were followed close behind. Why? She whispered against his armor. Why won't you leave me? His voice was low, fierce, burning with something she couldn't understand. Because you're not alone anymore. Her heart trembled. She pressed her face against him, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. For the first time in her life, warmth spread through her chest, not from fire, not from survival, but from him. Behind them, the beast roared again. The tunnel opened into a wider chamber. Broken machines and shattered pillars lay scattered across the floor. The human staggered forward, finally setting her down against the wall. His shoulders rose and fell heavily, sweat running down his face. The alien woman reached out, her claws trembling. She touched his arm softly, carefully, as if afraid he would vanish. You fight for me, she whispered, when even my own people left me to die. His eyes met hers. In the torchlight, they seemed endless. Then they were fools. For a long moment, they only stared at each other. Her breath slowed, her chest rising and falling gently. She didn't realize she was leaning closer, her voice almost a whisper. I don't understand you, human. You make me feel safe, and that terrifies me. Before he could answer, the beast roars shattered the chamber again. The floor trembled, cracks racing across the stone. The human raised his weapon, his torch still burning. His voice was calm, steady, and unyielding. Stay behind me. The alien woman clutched her chest, her eyes wide. For the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of the dark. She was afraid of losing the light she had just found. And the beast was not done hunting them. The beast slammed into the chamber with the force of a falling mountain. Stone pillars cracked, sending shards flying across the ground. The alien woman shielded her face, her claws trembling, while the human stood tall before her torch in one hand, weapon in the other. The creatures shook the air. A deep growl that rattled her bones. Its 6 green eyes burned with fury, fixed on them. Saliva dripped from its teeth, sizzling when it touched the broken floor. The human didn't move. He waited. His breathing was slow, steady, like a predator ready to strike. Then the beast charged. The tunnel shook as its claws tore through stone. The human fired, the blast striking its chest. It staggered but didn't fall. Snarling, it lunged. Jaws wide. Down, he shouted. The alien woman dropped flat as the beast snapped at the air, where she had been. The human rolled aside, torchlight, swinging wildly. He drove his weapon into its side and pulled the trigger again. The chamber flashed with fire. The monster shrieked, swinging its tail. The strike sent the human crashing into a wall. His weapon skidded across the floor, out of reach. No, the alien woman cried. She dragged herself toward him, her injured leg burning with pain. The beast turned its glowing eyes toward the helpless human, preparing to crush him. Something broke inside her. Her people had left her. Her family had betrayed her. But this human, this strange warrior of light, had risked everything to carry her, to protect her. She would not watch him die. Her claws tore into the ground as she forced herself up. She grabbed the fallen weapon, its weight heavy in her hands. She aimed at the beast with shaking arms. Over here, she screamed. The creature roared and turned toward her. Its massive body loomed closer, teeth dripping. Her heart pounded so hard it hurt, but she pulled the trigger. The blast struck its jaw, snapping its head back. It howled in rage, stumbling. The human seized the chance. With a roar of his own, he drove the torch straight into its wounded eye. The chamber exploded with fire and fury. The beast thrashed violently, smashing against the walls. Dust and stone rained from above as the ceiling cracked. Finally, with one last shriek, the monster collapsed, its massive body hitting the ground with a thunderous crash. Silence followed. The alien woman dropped the weapon, her claws shaking. Her chest heaved with every breath. She looked toward the human. He was on one knee, blood dripping from his forehead. She crawled to him, ignoring the pain in her leg. You're hurt, she whispered. He gave a weak smile. I've been worse. Tears stung her eyes. She pressed her hands against his wound, her voice trembling. No, you saved me. You carried me. I can't let you die now. She closed her eyes and whispered in her own tongue. A faint glow spread from her palms, seeping into his skin. Alien healing energy, weak, imperfect, but enough to slow the bleeding. The human's breathing steadied, his eyes open, locking with hers. For a long moment, they only stared, two enemies who should never have touched. Now, bound by blood and fire, her claws still pressed to his chest. Feeling the warmth of his heartbeat, she realized how close she was to him. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I don't even know your name, yet I feel like I've known you forever. The human's lips curved into the faintest smile. But before he could answer, the ground rumbled. The chamber shook again. Cracks spread across the ceiling. The beast's body twitched. Her eyes widened. It's not dead. The human gritted his teeth, forcing himself to stand despite his wounds. He pulled her close, shielding her with his body. His torch flickered, flame nearly dying. The alien woman's voice trembled, filled with fear. If it rises again, we won't survive. The human's eyes burned with fire as he lifted his weapon one last time. Then we finish this. Between life and death. The beast finally fell still. Its body, black and broken, no longer twitched. The stench of burned flesh hung heavy in the air. The human stood over it for a long moment, chest rising and falling, weapon still raised, waiting. Only when the silence returned did he lower his arm. The flame in his torch had shrunk, weak, but still alive. The alien woman leaned against the wall, clutching her injured leg. Her body shook, not just from pain, but from everything she had felt: the fear, the fight, and the strange warmth of his arms. He crossed the chamber and crouched beside her. His armor was dented, his skin smeared with blood and ash, but his eyes still carried the same steady fire. "We need shelter," he said quietly. "This place won't hold for long." She nodded, though her voice failed her. He lifted her again, his grip strong despite his wounds, carrying her through broken tunnels. He finally pushed open a rusted door. Inside was an old bunker walls of cracked steel, long abandoned but safe enough for the night. He set her gently on the floor and lit a small fire in the corner. Flames grew, spreading warmth through the cold bunker. For the first time in days, she felt heat on her skin that was not from battle or pain. She stared at the fire, lost in the glow. The human sat across from her, cleaning his weapon. The silence between them was heavy, yet not uncomfortable. It was a silence filled with things unsaid. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was soft, trembling. "You should have left me. Any other human would have." He didn't look up. "Maybe. But I'm not any other human." Her claws tightened on her chest. She wanted to laugh, to insult him, but no words came. Instead, her heart whispered something she didn't dare admit. She studied him in the firelight. His face was tired, scarred, but strong. His eyes reflected the flames, and for a moment, she forgot he was her enemy. Her voice shook as she whispered, "I don't understand you. You fight like a monster, but your touch is gentle. You should be my enemy. Yet you feel more like..." She stopped herself, choking on the word. He glanced up, waiting. His silence made her cheeks burn. "More like home," she finally admitted. The fire popped, filling the space with crackling warmth. Her confession hung in the air like smoke, impossible to take back. The human didn't laugh. He didn't mock. He only stared at her, his jaw tight, his eyes softer than she expected. "You think I saved you because I wanted something," he said slowly. "But the truth is, I couldn't walk away. Not from you." Her chest tightened. She had begged her own kind once for protection, for love, for anything, but they had left her. Yet here was a stranger, a human, speaking words she had longed to hear. Her claws trembled as she reached toward the fire. Its heat kissed her skin, reminding her of his warmth when he held her. Her voice lowered, almost a whisper. "You make me feel things I shouldn't feel. Things I don't even have words for." The human leaned closer. The flames painted shadows across his face, across hers. The distance between them shrank, her breath catching in her throat. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel abandoned. She didn't feel broken. She felt seen. She was about to speak again, her lips trembling, when the ground shook. A distant explosion echoed through the tunnels above. The steel walls groaned as dust fell from the ceiling. The human stood instantly, weapon in hand. "They found us." Her blood turned cold. She knew who they were: the patrols. The soldiers who had left her to die. Her own kind. Her heart pounded as fear and shame flooded her again. She turned to the human, voice breaking. "If they see me with you, they'll kill us both." The human's eyes burned brighter than the firelight. He didn't hesitate. "Then let them try." The bunker shook with the force of the explosions above. Dust rained down, the fire in the corner flickering weakly as the steel walls groaned. The alien woman's claws dug into the floor. Her heart pounded not because of the beast they had faced, but because of the footsteps she heard now. Her people, the soldiers, stormed into the chamber. Armored, armed, their visors glowing cold blue. Their leader stepped forward, his voice sharp and cruel. "So the traitor still lives." The woman froze. She had once marched beside these warriors, trusted them, begged them to protect her. And yet, it was their hands that had chained her in the dark. Their backs she had watched as they abandoned her. Now they had returned not to save her, but to finish what they started. The human moved before her, weapon raised. His torchlight flickered across his face, showing nothing but steady defiance. "You'll have to go through me first," he said. The soldiers laughed, their voices echoing like blades. A human protecting her. Pathetic. "You not know what she is?" The alien woman's breath caught. Shame burned her chest. She wanted to scream, to deny their words, but deep inside, she feared they were right. She was nothing to them. Nothing but a burden. But the human didn't waver. His voice cut through the bunker like fire through ice. "I don't care what she is. She's not yours to leave behind anymore." The soldiers hesitated. His words struck harder than any weapon. Rage twisted their leader's face. He raised his rifle. "Then you both die." The human fired first. The bunker erupted with sound blast, sparks, screams. The firelight flared, shadows dancing wildly. As steel clashed with flesh, the alien woman crawled behind him, every shot echoing through her heart. He fought like a storm, every strike fueled not by duty but by something far stronger. But there were too many. One soldier slipped past, his weapon aimed at her. Time slowed. No, she screamed. The human turned, throwing himself in front of her. The blast struck his armor. He fell hard, blood spreading across his chest. Her vision blurred with tears. She crawled to him, clutching his face. No, no, stay with me, please. His hand, trembling but steady, reached up to touch her cheek. His voice was faint, but his eyes still burned. I told you. I don't leave people to die in the dark. Her chest shattered. Rage consumed her. She grabbed the fallen soldier's weapon, her claws steady now. Rising to her feet, she faced the patrol. You left me to die. Her voice trembled with fury. But he gave me life. With a scream that shook the bunker, she opened fire. The soldiers fell one by one, their cruel laughter silenced forever. The bunker reeked of smoke and blood, and when the last one fell, silence returned. Only the crackle of the fire remained. She dropped the weapon and fell to her knees beside the human. His blood stained her claws, but his eyes were still open, still watching her. Tears ran down her face as she whispered, "You're the light I was searching for, and I will never let it fade." The human tried to speak, but his voice broke. Instead, she leaned closer, pressing her forehead to his, her claws trembling against his armor. "Stay with me," she whispered. "I don't care if the whole world calls me traitor. I will walk in the light of your arms." He gave the faintest smile. His hand squeezed hers weakly, but it was enough. The firelight reflected in her eyes as she held him tight, her heart no longer empty. For the first time since she was abandoned, she wasn't afraid of the dark, because she had found her light. Ending suspense, cliffhanger for audience. His eyes closed slowly as she clutched him tighter. Did he survive the night, or did she lose the only light she had ever found?